Hello, people of the internet. I just realized I didn't tell my guest today that, by the way, we don't use gender pronouns. Just letting you know ahead of that. Okay, cool. For the listeners, if you didn't listen to my episode with Cal Campos where we talked about gender and the LGBTQ community, um, take a listen. That's where a lot of things change for the podcast, a lot of eye-opening conversations. But for those of you who don't know, my name is Kendrick Tran, also known as Kendrick Train, also known as a train off track. And today I'm here with a good friend of mine. Her name is Cammy. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cammy. Um, Previously uh, a model. I'm retired now that I'm working full time as a manager at my job at Aritzia and just going about life, trying to be
Okay.
an adult.
I
You know how
actually
it is.
Oh my God. No, that's actually crazy because recently I reconnected with some friends. Okay, well, not friends anymore, obviously, but I reconnected with some people from high school. And we were talking about like how's life and whatever. Um, and I was like, honestly, whenever you talk about like life, you're always like, honestly, I'm just trying to be an adult. Like it's just so weird how people put so much pressure on like age and like this title. It's just interesting. Besides the point.
Totally aligned, honestly, because I feel like there's so much expectations when you hit like a certain age. So it's like just trying to be an adult.
I know it's honestly scary, and especially since I'm watching this movie. I'm actually wow, what a good transition into the show I was literally just watching before we started recording. So I'm watching the show on Netflix. It's called what? Firefly Lane.
Oh my God, I have that on my list. How do you like it?
Yeah, it's like number one on Netflix right now, trending, or at least in Canada for the listeners that are not in Canada. But yeah, it's so okay. Originally, I was scared because like, basically without spoiling, the show is basically about these two best friends. One of them is super successful, famous, like I would say like Ellen level kind of vibes.
Oh,
And then the other one is just a regular, average mom going through it. Yeah, just a regular person basically, or an average person, whatever that means. Not like she's fine, she's living her life, whatever. I don't want to I can't say anymore, but
okay.
T T.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's basically about their friendship and how one of them is like rich and successful, and the other one is just it sounds. I just feel so rude. It's average. It's just average, I guess.
I would
Um,
say like she's like middle class-ish.
yeah, okay, she's middle
Yeah.
class. If you watch the movie, you would probably disagree. She's actually really well off, but whatever.
Oh, never mind. Okay, damn.
But middle class. Let's say for the differentiation or but yeah, and it's basically like how this woman's like going through basically a midlife crisis, or they're both kind of going through a midlife crisis, and then yeah. So I originally thought it was gonna be about how the less successful one feels inferior, and how her life is like she compares her life to her best friend, and like as especially in this age, everyone's comparing themselves to each other. So like I thought it was gonna be about comparison, but it's not, which is like kind of disappointing, but also kind of good. I don't know. But yeah,
So it's just like a day in the life, pretty much.
yeah, like it's just because I can't imagine myself not being the successful one, if that makes sense. If
Ah,
that's like a thing in a relationship, you know what I mean? I just can't imagine myself not being that one. So I kind of watched it going into it seeing like, oh, like maybe this will teach me a lesson about like what it doesn't matter, like because I one thing I've been hearing a lot is I forgot where I heard it, but it was basically like, oh, I think it was on a YouTube video, and it was talking about like, oh, like I'm proud of my brother. I'm just glad to be a part of the journey, basically. You know what I mean? So like I was just trying. I was watching it to try and see if I could like be okay not being the successful one. You know?
oh. I mean, like, that's like an empathetic way of looking at it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. C- yeah,
You have
because
such
it's
a
like
clear vision of your success that you're trying to manifest it. So that's understandable that you need to have that different perspective.
That's what I'm saying, because I was like, because it's like I know, like, you know what I mean? I have all these goals or dreams or whatever, and I can't imagine a world without them happening, if I'm being totally honest, and not even in like a douchey way, more like a manifestation way.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly. You
like,
have to see it visually.
yeah, but I just want to make sure that I'm in a place where I can be happy if that doesn't happen, you
Ah,
know?
fair enough.
Again, especially in this world where everyone's comparing themselves to each other, you know what I mean? So I just want to make sure, like, literally, okay, this has nothing to do with, kind of, actually it does have something to do with what we're talking about today on this podcast. For the listeners, today we are going to talk about like spirituality and the unknown and like the anxieties about the future and stuff like that, because Cammy is my like, okay, one of my closest friends for sure, I would say. I don't know how you feel about that, Cammy.
Oh my God,
Um
that's exactly the same. Love you. I was like, oh, thank God. We're on the
but
same page.
T. But also again, like I said, she's very into spirituality, and she's experienced a lot of things in her life that I can't even imagine, especially at where she is in her life. So it's very like, she's very like I wouldn't say spiritual because you're not anymore, but like
I
very
still am. I still look to it for guidance. It's just a matter of perspective. It just puts everything into perspective, like giving life a little bit more meaning when things get a little too chaotic, you know? When
oh
things get really hard to understand and you need to have that structure in your life. Spirituality's been there for me to give me that structure for that.
oh true. Okay, because one of my I've been watching a lot of movies basically about death. Like, this sounds kind of morbid.
No, I love that. I'm so sorry. Like, no,
No,
like
no,
it's
I'm
all
glad.
about transformation and like rebirth and stuff. It's all tied around death, and death is never the end.
Yeah, because it's actually crazy too. Because I recently watched an interview with Billie Eilish, and I don't know if you saw it, but it's a video where like
No, I haven't.
it's like a video where the camera gets closer to her face, and as the camera gets closer, the questions get more personal. So it's like more and more
Oh,
uncomfortable. So it's like, yeah, and
I
so one of
love
the
that.
questions, yeah, and this didn't start my fascination with like the whole death recently. It's just me and like my, it's kind of, I guess, existential crisis, I suppose. But that would like really helped put it into perspective, because she was like, the question was like, what keeps you humble or something like that, or what makes you realize like things are gonna be okay, or like what gives you hope, kind of. And she was like, the fact that I know we're all gonna die one day. And I was like, that's low. She was like, that's low key fucked up. But like at the end of the day, like what does it really matter? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? So
It's
I was
actually one
like,
of the main teachings in majority of like Buddhism and like Hinduism. Majority of them all center around the fact that we're going to reincarnate anyway, or we're going to die anyway. So nothing matters. But that the fact that nothing matters makes everything matter.
ooh,
It's so mind fucking when you think about it, because that's the end goal, is not to care about what happens, because everything happens for a reason.
oh my gosh. And then yeah, and then recently, my friend Maya, she recommended, I forgot the movie is, frig. Do you know that movie with Robert Pattinson? And he's like kind of poor, lives in New York. It's like from
Oh, oh
2010, I
my
think.
god.
Oh, Remember Me.
Uh
It's called Remember Me.
yes, yes, the 9/11 one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That I did not expect that, first of all. I did not expect it. Basically, for those, we already spoiled it. For those of you that didn't watch it and want to watch it, it basically ends with 9/11, and it's kind of fucked up, but like it's kind of beautiful at the same time. Okay, whoa. That was okay. That sounded
It's
bad.
beautiful to say that everyone's lives, everyone had a life when that event happened, and it's just like magnifying that on like one singular soul's life in juxtaposition to the event. So like
Okay.
that's what makes it beautiful. Just to save you.
Yeah. Yeah, I still want it to sound like, oh, 9/11 was beautiful. Like,
No,
like,
it's
no.
horrific, but like in
Yeah.
juxtaposition, someone's life is still very meaningful.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, one of the main quotes or points of the movie was basically saying that everything you do in life doesn't matter, like it'll be irrelevant, but it's important you do it anyways. And that like flipped everything. I was like, what? I was like that. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it turns you from a pessimist to an optimist. It's like yeah, like we get it, but like
Yeah.
you're gonna do it anyway, so might as well do it good. Might as well fuck it
Yeah.
up. Um,
If you're gonna fail, fail spectacularly, my guy.
that's what fail with grace. Let the world
Yeah.
know. Wow, I love how that tangent just came out of nowhere. But one thing I did want to talk about is how Cammy and I met because um yeah, like it was basically we met in the beginning of like my career per se.
Oh.
I wouldn't say like my retail career, whatever that means. Not the if any of you are in retail and you're hiring, hi. Okay,
Oh my God, I love you.
I have a lot more to offer, but like men need money and now. But yeah, if you work at like Chanel or like Valentino or like, like whatever, like anything that had that minimum price tag is like $500, like hi, I'm here. Hi. Um, anyways, it was the start of my retail career. Yeah. Um, it was like I remember getting hired. So we met at Ted Baker, and I remember that Ted Baker, like when I got the job at Ted Baker, I was so happy. Like, because Ted Baker, for those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure I've talked about it like a way
It's like
before.
like a middle tier, not like almost like a super high end, but like
Yeah, like
kind of.
contemporary premium
Mm-hmm.
area. So it's like imagine Kate Spade. Yeah, like whatever, like
Yeah.
Kate's like along the lines of Kate Spade, Michael Kors, even though Michael Kors doesn't want that. That's the facts. Uh, I remember I was
Yikes.
talking. I remember I was talking to someone, and he was like, "Yeah, I work in." I was like, "Oh, we were talking about work. I think I met him on Hinge, and then we were talking about work, and he was like, "Yeah, I work in luxury retail too." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Where do you work?" He was like, "I work at Michael Kors." And I was like, I literally laughed and then unmatched. I was like, "You're so funny." Sorry, okay, no hate, no shade. It's just if you think Michael Kors is good, it's a fight. But Zendaya reps them hard, so love you, Zendaya. And
I
Michael Kors, if
mean,
you're
just for
hiring,
Zendaya.
still, if Michael Kors, I will still work for you. I just won't enjoy it. See, unless you want to hire me for design. If you want to hire me for design, I think,
And like
yeah,
marketing. Oh, all of
yeah, or
those.
marketing. Yes, exactly. I think you would need it. So like, yeah. My resume is at kendricktrend.com. Thank you. Uh, but yeah, so we met at Ted Baker. Cammy, I want you to talk about because
Our
you
first
started like
impressions?
yeah, first impressions because you joined later on. I've been working. I don't know how long. I think I've been working there for like a year maybe, and then you joined.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Give or take, like you were there for like 10, 11 months in, and then I was like, hi.
uh, uh, came in and fucked it up. But yeah, I want to know like because we never talk about like first impressions and stuff. So like, what were your first impressions? Why did you even start? Why did you even get a job at Ted Baker? Because Ted Baker's not your brand
So
at all.
I know it's not me, but I really wanted to work somewhere like that was higher, like a more of a luxurious brand in comparison to all the other retails, because I found that I don't know. Isn't it weird? It's like it's been ingrained to me that you have to like slowly get up the ladder to be able
Uh-huh.
to like be worthy of luxury brands. I didn't know that you can just jump right into a luxury brand. Like I started at like Hollister all the way to Ted Baker. So I was like, I'm ready for Ted. And
True.
to be honest, your reputation preceded you. Like that was my
Mm.
first impression of you, because I came in like as like a ball of energy, but you were a different type of ball of energy. By ball of energy, we know what they mean. They dead ass called us extra, but you were a different type of extra. I was my own different type of extra. So that's why everyone was trying to tell me all about you. And I'm like, oh, all right. I'm nervous now. All right, thank you. Thank you for intimidating me. But okay.
Oh, that was it? Oh, I thought you were gonna
Oh
continue.
no, no. I was honestly like they were telling me that you were so funny, and I was like, oh my God, when I meet him, I have to also be equally funny. Oh fuck.
Wow, I did not
And they were like,
know.
yeah, and
Wow.
Ruby, one of our mutual friends, Kendrick and I, she would tell me like, oh yeah, and he gave me his business card the first time I met him, and I'm like, ah, I don't even have a business card. And I was like trying so hard. I was like, if you were to ask me for my business card, I guess my Instagram. I was gonna be like, just add me, or my LinkedIn. It's
Oh my
fire.
gosh.
Oh my
No,
god,
that.
but I was actually prepping because they were like, "Yeah, try not to look trashy because he'll call you out." And I'm like, "Well, I've never in my life has looked trashy coming into work, but okay."
Yeah. Oh my. I really do miss. Like honestly, though, as much as it is in our past, like it's way in our past. Like in our
Oh
past.
my god.
Like she gone, but uh, um, but yeah, I do miss it. If I'm being honest, not necessarily the job because if we're being honest, we were underpaid.
Oh,
Um,
by so much so.
yeah, like even if they just give us $1 more, like that would have made the biggest difference. But yeah, we were underpaid. But the one thing that really made it for me is well, first of all, again, because I had like this, wow, like I work at Ted Baker. I remember I was just graduating high school when I started. Oh no, not when I started, like kind of like when I was like a few months in, and I wore full Ted Baker to my graduation, and I was rapping. I was like people would come up to me, be like, "Yeah, my suit is like custom made. It cost $1,000." And I was like, "Mine is designer. It's $1,000." I was like, "Mine costs the same price, and yours looks like a regular ass suit, bitch. Get off my shoes, bitch. Like who the
Just
like
because
what?"
you got money doesn't mean you got style, bitch.
Exactly. Step off my feet. Like, what the frig? Again, back then when I thought Ted Baker was designer,
Oh my
um,
god.
if you don't get me wrong, if I know, especially because Cammy and I, when we worked together, we would like fuck it up. I remember I kind of turned into like the cashier because that's where I wanted to be, if I'm being honest. Like working sales without commission is like why? Um No, literally. And there was
No,
just a
dead
lot of
ass.
pressure, like, but like Cammy and I remember I would like cash out, and then Cammy would, you could hear Cammy all over the show. She'd be like, "Oh my God, love, like, I love your outfit. Like, let me send you the Kendrick. I'll wrap it up for you." And then we would like be at cash, and you'd be wrapping up the
Whole
little.
tag team. A
Oh, it
little
was so
assembly line.
cute. But yeah, I do miss that about Ted Baker because I feel like even though there was like obviously low key like drama or whatever shit, I don't care who's listening if you fucking know. Um, but
The
it's like I
politics of
really
it all,
miss like
honestly.
the family culture because the culture that they preach to you when they hire you really is true, or at least it was for in my opinion. Or maybe yeah. So I don't know, like I really, and I do miss some of the people that used to work there. Like some of them don't even, like when I walk, like they give me dirty looks now. Some of them unfollowed me on Instagram.
Girl,
You know who
same.
unfollowed me? I mean, I'm just gonna say it, bitch. Anna Rita unfollowed me. If you, for the listeners, that was our assistant manager. But yeah, she unfollowed me, and I was like, okay,
Oh, she was
yeah.
like, don't need you no more.
I was like,
Don't
okay,
need
bitch.
to
I was
pretend
like,
to be nice.
yeah. I was like, you're gonna regret that. But anyways, tea. um, but yeah. Uh, wow. I really went on a whole tangent about Ted Baker.
Oh my
Yikes.
god. No, you're totally fine. Oh my god, we've been through so much in that store. So, Ted Baker, you know what's
Yeah.
up?
Oh my God. No, but
Honestly.
I think it's a very good stepping stone though, for sure. Like if you're looking to get into luxury retail, you should definitely start at a brand like Ted Baker.
Hmm.
And I would say that over Kate Spade and over Michael Kors too. Like I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, for sure. Your clientele is more is it's less diverse because the people that know of the brand
Are
are,
probably white, but yeah.
yeah, probably
Or
white
wanna
and
be white.
people.
No, that's the T. That's why I like the brand, because I want it to be white. And that's
Hmm.
problematic, but I don't want to anymore. But I did used to. Just disclaimer. But anyways.
I mean, like, fucking systematic racism we had to grow up in. So,
T. Wow, this is not
let's just
even my
fucking
this is
drink to
not
that.
not even my racism episode, but if you want to listen to that, listen to my last episode with Ms. Venetia McFarlane, bitch. We talked about racism in the film industry. Whoa. Wow. Love being woke. Anyways, so back to the point of this episode, spirituality.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so so Cammy has tarot cards. I don't know if we're gonna play them. We were gonna play around of tarot cards. I don't think not really the vibe anymore, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
that's
But
totally perfect. I'm using
I'm
my fucking deck as my
as a
laptop
like a
stand, so
stool.
it
Oh
works.
my God. But yeah, for the listeners, Cammy is like very again. She had a phase where she is still into it, but she had a phase where she was like huge into it. Um, and she has tarot cards. We've done tarot readings before, and for
All
the
of it, the whole shebang.
we really did that. Like when I tell people about the experience, they're like, "Wow!" They're like, you really did that." Um, but yeah, for those of you that are skeptical, I do think, of course, it's like spirituality in itself, like it's very like opinions, very whatever. But I do think I think getting some like for me, I'm very skeptical of psychics, just because, for example, I don't want them to say something I don't want to hear, or something that's very like like your life is gonna end this day, whatever,
Yeah.
and then that
Or
kind of
like something you didn't
changes.
want to know.
Exactly, like you, and that kind of changes your perspective on life, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like tarot cards are very like up to interpretation, very like very playful. Like they have their meanings, but it's like they're not like this is
The
gonna
be all and end
happen.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not trying to tell you anything. They're just like giving you like general like this is what it is.
Insights.
Yes, exactly. Um, yeah. And Cam, you want to tell us more about your little attitudes of decks and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. So with tarot, I really love them mostly because they're very interpretive. They rely heavily on your intuition, whether that be the reader or the person being read it. But um every deck has their own personality depending, and majority of them get their personality from the person that's holding it. So I don't know why I have a super caring deck and then I have a super sassy deck, but I guess that's the two sides of me that comes out to play when my
Oh,
friends need me. But yeah, my friends always choose the sassy deck because that's always the one that dishes out your tea. um no
air out
remorse,
your
but
shit.
I know, honestly, like you need to have your dirty laundry like splayed out like that just for you to notice what the fuck you're doing wrong.
True. I guess it's like more like, do you want them to say it with their chest or do you want a sugar coat? And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah. You
Mm.
know, like I'm here to hear the real tea. Like just give it to me, bitch.
Just lay it on me, just to fuck me up, tell me I'm a whore. Oh.
Okay, that was a little
That's a
anyway.
little much, my bad. Edit that out.
I'm definitely not editing it out, bitch. F
Oh.
that. Anyways. Better start your apology video, bitch.
Oh, I will, don't worry. I'm already fake crying. I'm gonna get my eye droppers
Then you're gonna
and do
put
it
like
in
a
my
lot of
foyer.
mascara and it's gonna start dripping and it's
Oh
just
my
oh
God.
my
I have to
god,
do
you're
like
gonna
the lower lash line. Oh,
oh my god, you're gonna have to start crying on your Louis Vuitton couch and
I have to, and I have to somehow like incorporate my Hermes scarf in there. Don't know how, but it'll happen. Wear my Christian Dior. Just let them know that I got it going on. So even if you don't accept my apology, it's fine. I'm
yeah,
leaving.
literally. That's the tea. Oh my god. Honestly though, like respect. Like people that do that, I was like, honestly, like that's the tea. Like I'm crying and I'm
Honestly.
trying to apologize, but if you don't accept it, I don't fucking need your respect. Like you know what I mean? Like whatever.
Oh my God,
Um,
crocodile tears, my guy.
true.
Mm,
That's
mm.
also something I realized too. Like because I use one thing that I've learned throughout 2020 is that I've been learning a lot of lessons basically about like relationships and friendships and just like life. I feel as I'm sure a lot of people are. Um, but one thing I learned recently, at least, is that I think respect. Well, I think it's a known thing, but like respect is more important than someone liking you. I think.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it's like that's something I didn't even realize. It's like, but now it's like someone heard it somewhere, but and then I was like, that's the thesis, and I was
Mostly
like,
because
wow,
you vying for everyone else's like acceptance of you is not worth the time and energy of you just living your own damn life. And whoever doesn't want to be in that energy can show themselves out because you don't
T
need them. Oof.
T,
That's why
and I oh,
respect.
and the thing, and this is and something I thought about recently too is it's like I think like obviously in a friendship it's about or any relationship it's about balance, about mutual like agreement, but I just hate when people expect respect. Well, that was a tongue
Oh,
twister. Expect respect.
oof.
Be- it just makes no sense to me. And yeah, I just
Like
had a
they're
situation.
entitled to the respect.
Yeah, it's like even if it's because like for example, like I don't know, like yeah, like even in like some friendships, right? Even it's like they do something wrong and then or they think they're on your level when they just because you're friends, if that makes sense. Like that sounds kind of bad, but it just makes sense to me
Oh my
because
God, explain further.
yeah, it's because for example, like in a specific like okay, I don't want to not that there's tea and like then that there's drama, even if there was, my 20 listeners don't care. But anyways, yeah, it's like in terms of for me at least, because I don't by no means I think I'm like successful or this person that deserves to be on like a high horse or just to treat anyone a certain way. Not that I do, but like I'm just saying like I don't think I'm anywhere at someone that deserves to do anything really, to be honest. But when people or even like maybe even like we're kind of friends, more like acquaintances almost, and they do something that's kind of disrespectful, and they think that's okay because we're friends. If that makes sense, it's like
Oh, it's like
or
they're
for
overstepping their boundaries because they think it's cool
kind of,
for
but
cool with you.
yeah, because in my situation specifically, it's like I've worked for so long to get to a certain point, and I'm nowhere near what I wish I was. But still,
Mm-hmm.
like and again, like not that I think I'm like successful or anything, but I think I'm really proud of what I've done, and I've done quite a few things. So it's like when people think that they think they're successful and they think they can talk down on me when they haven't experienced certain things because they're friends. Like they think they deserve my respect, at least in a professional manner, when they don't.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Like if
oh,
you're
so
asking
they're
for
kind of,
respect, yeah, like just because we're
oh
friends, you
no.
think you think you're as I don't know how to make that sound like I don't know how to say it
No,
without
go
being kind of
off.
rude.
Oh my God,
Because
be rude. Go off.
because yeah, like some people think, for example, if we're doing comparing professional and personal, right? Like some people think that they are just as successful professionally and deserve your respect professionally because you're your friends personally. And I hate that. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I do. Now that
Yeah.
you've explained it that way.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
example, like
yeah.
let's look at it. For
It's so
example,
frustrating.
we'll give like a very like I guess like pop culture drama version,
Mm-hmm.
sure, right? Like I don't like I'm not like that huge into pop culture, so I might be wrong. But for example, like do you know the situation about Scott Disick and one of the Jenners or something? I don't know, bitch.
Oh, I don't remember.
Or
Which
okay, I
one?
don't know.
The recent one or like the past one?
I have
Oh my God,
no
there's so many
idea. I
things.
really don't know. Or even okay, let's say Jeffree Star, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay, not Jeffree Star is very controversial. I just want to say it out there. I'm just using it as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like a lot of his friends or old friends, for example, like Manu Anyway, like Laura Lee, people like
Mm-hmm.
them are so like not to say that their friendship was fake or anything, but they were so quick to dish on him and be like, here's the tea, like, oh my God, we're not friends anymore. I don't need you. But he literally makes like 5 times what you will ever make. Like, okay, not to disrespect anyone. Like, who knows? Like, prove him wrong. Be that bitch, get on the same level. But Jeffree Star is like, he makes $100 million a year, or like a month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
like,
at least like
how?
put some respect on his name.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh my
how are you gonna
God.
disrespect him and be like, I don't need you, blah 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 blah, like when you need to put respect on his name, you know what I mean? So it's like not that this is on any similar level, but I'm just saying like it's just I just find that frustrating. It's like yes, you don't need anyone in your life. Like let's be honest, you don't need anyone. You shouldn't give anyone that power.
But you should at
Um,
least give them like a base respect for them as a human
exactly,
being. Yeah,
exactly.
definitely
Like
understandable.
yeah,
Like
so
have
it's
more
like
empathy for the other person.
yeah, so like obviously being friends means you're equals.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna take that in a direction where it's like, oh, I deserve your respect just because we're friends, it's like, no, like you have to earn the respect. Like I'm not just gonna give it to you because we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Kind of and yes. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like you catch me and then you drop me and then you catch me and then you drop me. I'm trying to keep up.
Oh, wow, this has nothing to do with the topic at all. What is
Oh,
happening today? What is
let
happening?
us go back into our home frequency and let's get back
Yes.
on track.
Wow, I
This is
just
the
went on a
train off
whole
track.
rant for no reason. I just went on a whole
Oh my
rant for
god.
no reason.
It was so valid though, because honestly, within friend groups, that happens all the time, where
Yeah,
they get way too comfortable and they start disrespecting your work and who you are just because they think that they can say whatever because you guys are
exactly.
close friends. And it's like, no, you
That's
still need to understand that I'm going through things just the same as you, and we need to respect each other. At least that baseline of respect needs to be there, and you don't need to disrespect me too much just because we're like buddy buddy.
yeah, like don't belittle my work and say
Yeah.
that you deserve my respect just because we're friends, basically.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
I hate
Yeah.
that. I actually hate that.
Anyways, back to
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah.
Um, I guess sure, we can use this as a segue. Ooh, talking about
Mm.
like ourselves and relationships and personalities. Recently within Cammy and I's friend group, as mentioned before, Ruby was part of it as well. Hi Ruby, if you're listening. Um, but we've been recently playing like a lot of these like psychological kind of games in which basically are like, I don't know, you explain it, Cammy. You explain it.
So for me, I'm a strong believer of getting to know everyone, like their nitty gritty, before pretty much getting to know them my own way before they like explain to me who they think they are, because your perception of yourself is different from everyone else's perception of you. So I do that by doing like psychological games, and they're not like necessarily games where I trick you into like giving me details that you don't want to. It's more so just like, what's your personality type like at this particular stage of your life? Because your answers will continually change. Like I've asked this to all of my friends and all of my lovers. But like yeah, it gives you a good huh, like it gives you great insight as to where you are in life. Like what's your perception of, let's say, your ego, your problems, like who you're going to be with, what you're looking for in a relationship, and what
Yeah,
your values are,
yeah.
by asking you like simple questions like, let's take a walk in the park.
Okay, yes. For the listeners, this is a game that the most recent game that Cammy and I played, the psychological game. And I just kind of wanted her to share the game with the listeners because I already answered the questions, and I guess we can talk about my results like
Yeah, we can
afterwards
both
as
like we
well.
can like compare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
Mm.
let's share the questions first for the listeners and the viewers so that they can answer for themselves as well.
Okay, so this has a lot to do with visualization. So in your mind's eye, you don't have to close your eyes, but in your mind's eye, let's say that we're walking in the park. By we, I mean like I'm an entity, I'm your narrator, and you are walking, but with who? Try to like see them in your mind's eye. And then as you guys are walking, you guys see an animal. Try to remember the description of the animal, what you do with the animal, and what the animal does. And then as you go on, try to remember all the little details. And in the distance, you see a house. With describe the house. And is your house gated, fenced? Is there a moat? How well guarded is it, if at all? Anyway, it's an open house, so let's head right into it. So now that we're inside the house, there is going to be a table. Not much else, not much furniture, because it's just an open house. You're just there to look at the house. There's no other floors, but there is a table. What do you see on that table? Is there flowers? Is there food? Is there nothing? Is there something important? Anyway, we're done looking at the table. You've inspected it, nothing much else. We walk through the house and into the backyard. And in the backyard, on the grass, there's a cup. In your mind's eye, what is the cup made out of? And what do you do with the cup? All right. Try to keep your notes in your head. Not sure how you're going to do that, but after you've set down the cup or whatever else you've done to the cup, you're just trying to get across, but you see a body of water. Try to describe to me, or in your mind's eye, try to visualize what that body of water looks like. And is it big? Is it turbulent? Is it deep? Is it serene? Describe it to your best detail. And then you and whoever you're with, and me narrating it, we all needed to cross that body of water. How do you do that? And that's the end.
Yes. So for the listeners and watchers, basically what she's asking is you have to take a note of who you're like who you're with,
Yeah.
like what animal you're seeing,
And what you do with the animal.
what do you do with the animal. Yeah, I'm trying to recap so people like understand what they need to be thinking about, right? Yeah, so like who you're with, the details about the animal, the details about the house, what's on the table, what the cup is like, the details about the cup, if there's anything inside, stuff like that, the details about the body and water that is now magically in front of you. And how you get over, like through it or over it or just around it, whatever. And basically the premise of the questions are supposed to be like describe like, yeah, again, your personality, thought process, where you are right now and your mentality. And yeah, we'll talk about, I guess now we'll share our answers personally. And then you can, for the listeners and that you are going to try it, feel free to look up the answers, obviously, or you can like reach out to one of us. We'll give you our details after. I don't know if you're open. Actually, I didn't even ask
Totally
if you're open to that. Okay.
Totally open
So
to that.
yeah, feel free to check us out on Instagram. We'll share that those details later in the podcast. But yeah, we can definitely help guide you about what the answers might represent in your life or to you. Do you want to go first? I actually don't know your answers. You know my answer, but I don't know your answer. So let's hear yours first.
So the last time I've done this was during, I don't know, I can't do check-ins with myself because I know all the meanings of everything, but the first time I've done it was with when I was getting to know my ex-fiance. Ooh, yikes. Ooh. But anyway, I was walking with him particularly around that time. So that was about, how long ago was that? Like 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. I was walking around with him, and whoever you're walking with is currently the most important person in your life, because if they're the first thought in your head, obviously they're the most important. And then the animal that I saw was a lion. It was a mountain lion. So I was kind of shook and it kind of froze me. And all we did was, well, what you're supposed to do with a mountain lion, I was trying to think logically. I was like trying too hard to like think of things as you're supposed to. So I was like, I'm supposed to freeze. I'm supposed to not do anything. And unfortunately for me, the animal represents what you do with problems. And that resonated to me like spectacularly, because I have anxiety and I tend to freeze up or fawn instead of like trying to solve my problems immediately. What about you, Kendrick? How did you see your animal again?
Oh, we're doing like step by step. Oh, sorry. I thought we were gonna like hear the whole thing and then we were gonna compare after. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I like that. No, that's smarter. That's smarter. No. Anyways, okay. So yeah, we'll go step by step then, and we'll talk about what that represents. So rewinding back to the person. So obviously, as she said, hers was her ex-fiance. For me, I don't have anyone in my life like that, I suppose. So for me, I was with one other person, not a group, not by myself, whatever. But I didn't have a clear image of who that was. And then basically what Cammy said that represented, or at least, and which makes sense to me at least, was that I'm looking for that other person, like that best friend or
Mm-hmm.
soulmate or other half, whatever you want to call it. Like I'm looking for that. I'm like currently yearning and like looking for that person, which is so accurate.
Yeah, because you can
Um,
easily say that you're walking alone and you yourself is the most important person in your life. But the fact that you said that you envision someone next to you means that you're currently searching for that fulfillment.
which is so true because one thing, and I've had this conversation a lot with a lot of friends too, is like one thing that I'm really looking for is like right now at least is I'm really want like that other half or like that person to complete me. Oh my God.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, like no matter that be like a lover or just like a best friend, like if I'm being totally honest, like I haven't like met that someone where I can confidently say like they're like my best friend, you know? So it's
no,
like,
for sure.
and it's like, it's really weird. And that's part of why I've been thinking about like relationships and friendships recently is because I'm like, again, probably similar to that situation, right? Um, but yeah. And then in terms of the animal I saw was like a little, I think it was we didn't put a breed of dog, but it was like a medium sized dog. It was like really fluffy. Basically imagine a golden retriever, but like the one with the long
Hmm.
hair and like the floppy ears and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was basically a golden retriever. And then it was like really playful and really friendly. And then I said that I actually befriended that owner, like me and whoever this other person is with me, befriended that owner. And then, kind of like doggy play day, like, like, I don't know, kind of
Yeah.
like in the movies, like when you see a dog and you're like, oh my God, like I vibe with you. I fuck with you. Let's
Yeah.
meet up again. New friend, and
Hmm.
then basically what Cammy said that represented was,
If it's
again,
a
she
tame,
said,
it's of a domestic animal, that means that you view your problems as something that you can domesticate. That's something that you can tame. It's nothing that's out of your hands. That means everything is well within your means. And then the fact that you said that you even befriended the owner, oof, the owner of the dog is pretty much the root of the problem. So the fact that you befriended that means that not only did you fix the problem and don't see the problem as a problem, you also get to the root cause and you reconcile with it. You accept it and you forgive it. So that's so healthy. Honestly, I wish I was at that stage. But like 4 years ago, I was like, oh my God, my anxiety would freeze me and the
oh
mountain
my
lion will eat me. And this is the right thing to do. Is if I don't want to die, I do this.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Wow. It's really crazy. Like, I don't know. Like that also makes me think because recently I've been thinking about like external validation, right?
Oh.
And and I didn't realize, but I think, and I don't know how you feel about this either, but I realized that I think I have a very low self-esteem. Yes,
Really?
which is very surprising. Wow, this is very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Hi, hello listeners. Um
Hi,
but
listeners.
yeah,
How are
but I was thinking about that recently is because um like if unless you're like a close friend of mine, if I see you like succeed in at least in an industry that I want to be in, for example, right? I get super like I'm just a very jealous, competitive person. And I think that comes from the fact that I feel as though if someone else is doing it good, that I can't. You know what I mean?
you?
Like
Oh.
that I feel like that person is taking my spot. So it's like I realized that like again, not that I'm gonna let that stop me, obviously, as we just heard about the dog situation. But I realized that because it's like whenever I see that happening, I'm like, oh, like I start to feel bad about myself. And it's like
Hmm.
I realized that recently and I was like, wow. I was like, huh, interesting. Yeah. Anyways, moving
Mm.
on to the next
Moving
thing.
on to the next thing. Um, so we come upon a house. In my version of the house has a small picket fence, just because in my mind I wanted to have like a picket fence. So I envisioned my dream house, which is like a little bungalow, and it has a picket fence, has like wildflowers growing around the picket fence, and just my vibe. And the house pretty much is a representation of you. And if there's any like surrounding fences, whether that be barbed wires, moats, or a full-on wall. That's pretty much what people need to hurdle over or overcome in order to get to know you. And the house itself is obviously you. So I see myself as whatever you think a bungalow is. In my opinion, bungalows are like homey, they're nostalgic, they remind me of my
Nostalgic?
childhood. Oh, they remind me of my
Really?
childhood because I've only ever lived in bungalows.
I did not know that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. Okay, anyways, continue, sorry.
So that like makes me more like a mother figure because you would come home to a bungalow.
Oh
But yeah.
wow.
But yeah, so that was insightful for me because I was at the time when 4 years ago, how I was 20 years old and I was like, I don't see myself as a mother, but I guess that's how other people see me or like yeah. And I guess I mother people. I just don't realize it because I'm trying so hard to save them. You're not supposed to.
Oh.
Therapy said no. Save
Oh,
yourself.
damn. Wow. Oh my
And then for
gosh,
Kendrick,
Cammy. No, sorry. No, sorry. I'm talking about you, bitch. No, but that's crazy. First of all, I just want to say I would love to experience a bungalow. We should definitely go somewhere where we can live in a bungalow for a little bit. Anyways.
a bungalow is literally just a one-story house, my guy.
Oh
It's
shit.
any one-story
Yes.
house,
Okay, sorry. What I imagine as a bungalow, I remember like I imagine like on the
like a
beach,
hut.
like yeah, like a
Oh, like
hut.
those. That's also something that I like. If I were to redo this game again, I honestly see myself more like
But
that,
you can't
like an
choose.
oasis. I know because I
It don't
know the
work like
fucking
that. It's whatever
answers. They
first
don't
comes to
work like
mind, whatever
that.
you're
Yeah,
vibing. Oh my goodness. She said, I want to put
unbelievable.
an update status on my on my life. Yeah, thank you.
Because just letting you know, you can take this test again as soon as you forget all the answers and what they mean, and be like, oh damn, that's where I'm at in my life.
Yeah, that's true. That's cute. But for me,
Hmm.
I imagined no fence. Basically, what I imagined was basically the White House with no fence. But not like not as large as the White House, like kind of like a sorority house, but just like a typical like very like a large mansion, all white pillars, the whole shebang, but no
Hmm.
fence, no security, no nothing like that. Um, and I kind of like when I say my thing and then you go in and explain it. So like, go ahead, sis.
Okay, so for Kendrick, what I really loved about it is the extravagance of it all, and the fact that it has so many rooms and so much things to offer. It can be a sorority house for all we know. It can be the White House. So the juxtaposition of both is so like the contrast is so huge that you're like, oh, so there's completely different sides of Kendrick that either he knows of or that we know of or that we will find out. The fact that I'm just gonna go with the White House look. The fact that it's a White House means that it's structured, it's clean. That's pretty much how he conducts himself. So everything is very elegantly put, everything is protected, everything is like well thought out, just like how he conducts himself. Everything from the way that he does his hair, from the way that his sweatshirt is fitting on him, the way that he only has a couple of rings rather than all of his fingers having rings. Everything is well thought out. It's
Oh
very
wow,
on
I love how
brand.
you noticed the rings. Wow. Um, but yeah, and then the no fence obviously represents like that I really don't have any barriers. Like I'm a pretty open book as long as you're like
Yeah,
friendly and on like aggressive. Like I'm ask me anything, bitch. Um,
exactly. But mind you, that's a White House. He's got snipers on the roof, my guy. If he doesn't like you no more, bap.
bat, bat,
Nothing.
bat. You wanna let's go. For the listeners, I just did the ugliest little fight dance moment. But yeah. Uh, okay, and then next is the
Oh yeah, we're gonna make our way into the house now, and whatever is on the table represents either your values or where you are at mentally. 4 years ago, when I saw the inside, when in my mind's eye, I saw flowers on the table because I was thinking so logically, and I was like, it's an open house, so obviously there's gonna be flowers on there. And if you see flowers or food, it pretty much signifies that you're generally a happy person. And with Kendrick,
Oh, wow. You always transition it back to me. For me, I saw a fashion coffee table book.
mhm,
Like Tom Ford vibes. Like, ew. I don't personally own a Tom Ford coffee table book because I just don't want it. I just think it's very basic. But yes, a fashion coffee table book that features like art and like architecture and design and stuff like that.
pretty much what that says about Kendrick is that he's very um, in tune with his goals. The way I know Kendrick is that he has a vision, he has blinders on his sides, and he only sees his success as if it's already his, which is such a main thing that you have to focus on when you're manifesting everything. And I love the fact that he only saw the the architectural, beautiful, fashionable book on the table because that's everything that he holds value with. Like it's very on brand for him. And seeing that he has that on the table means that not only is he an intellectual, it means that he has his goals set and he has a clear vision of his future. Just because it's not flowers or food doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a happy person. It generally just means that he's a more method
I don't even know.
my
I'm not even gonna
vocabulary.
try. Yeah.
um you're a more well thought out person, just like circling back to the White House. Everything is well thought out, everything has a place.
Saying I should run for president. Cool.
Honestly, that as I think we would be a
You
well organized country.
stop.
Not that I live in the US, LMAO,
Honestly,
no.
if Kanye can do it, that just put no respect on his name. First of all, not if Kanye, because Kanye did it, I can also do it. That's how you put it.
Oh, we
Um,
love to empower other people.
right?
Hmm.
Period. If you don't like Kanye, that great. That's good for you. Move on. Get out of yep, great. Kanye is the most controversial person that I will 100% stand by. That's it. That's
Honestly,
the T.
same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
T.
I think it's mostly nostalgic for me because he was one of the very first artists that I've listened to as I fell in love with hip hop. So the fact
Oh,
that he was one of the first is like, oh, you'll always have a place in my heart. And I'm so sorry that you're going through whatever you're going through. But honestly, people live and learn. So we're not about cancel culture out here
true.
because we're all human.
T. Anyways,
Okay,
so
moving
what's
on.
next? Yes.
We've moved into the house. We're moving past the house now and into the backyard. Now we see a cup. In my case, I see the most beautiful crystalline cup that prisms and uh, pretty much what
Oh.
as you see like light coming into it, you see it refract and like shoot out the rainbow. It's the most beautiful cup ever. It's so it feels tough, but you know it's delicate. And for me, I went around looking for a carafe and I filled it up and I drank from it. In my case, the meaning of that, the meaning of the cup is how you see your romantic relationships. What you do with the cup is how, obviously, how you act for, like, in your relationship. So the fact that I see my cup as something that refracts light, it means that it'll change something about me or something about my life. So whatever comes in through it will transform into something else, whether that be beautiful or bad, not because it's obviously being redirected or being prismed. Um, Prismed, wow, refracted. That's what I meant. My bad.
Prism
And
refracted. Okay.
and the fact that I drank water from it and I actually actively looked around for something to drink out of, it means that I will obviously put in the work for the relationship and I want to be able to reap from the relationship as well as my other because I'm pouring into it as well as sipping. So it's a give and take for me.
Oh.
But the fact that the integrity of the cup is breakable, it means that my love can be conditional. But because I hold value to beautiful things, I will honestly never do anything to break it. If it breaks, it's either circumstantial, a boundary being broken, or my loyalty being tested. My loyalty almost always will never waver, and unless you fucking cheat or you do something unforgivable, like you.
Wow. Oh my
Going off
gosh.
now with Kendrick.
You really do learn a lot about people from these questions. Wow.
No.
Okay, T. For me, it was a like a China, like I every time I'm the like whenever I hesitate to say China is because it's in my own head. Like whenever I think China, I think the country. So it's like if it's like why are you associating a cup with
Like
Anyways,
a porcelain china. Don't
yeah,
worry,
like a
got
porcelain
you.
china cup. The classic. I imagine mine like white ceramic with the blue detailing, very like
Mm-hmm.
Dior, very you know. And it came with the tray and everything, like the little plate that comes under the saucer, and it's very vintage, very, very delicate, very cute. Um, and it was empty. It didn't have anything in it. I didn't want to put anything in it, and all I did with it was I picked it up and looked inside of it. Like I inspected it, looked inside of it, kind of like why is there a cup here? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and then
Okay, let's go into that. Let's dissect that for you. Pretty much with Kendrick, because there's more than one part to the cup, it means that his pretty much the way that he loves, the way that he forms his relationships is that there's multiple parts to it. So let's say him and I's relationship, not that we're romantic, just in like an example, I'm going like there's a part of our relationship that is adversary. Like you can come to me for advice and I can come to you for advice. The solid foundation is the fact that we've had a shared experience. So like let's say the saucer is like Ted Baker and that was how we met each other and that's how we can always go back to that. The fact that there's also a spoon in there, that means that we can stir things up. We can like challenge the relationship by like introducing new things to it. And if it breaks, because China can be broken, if it breaks, that either means obviously the boundary being broken, something unforgivable happening. And because he looks into the cup and not really done anything to change it, it means that relationships to Kendrick comes as they are. The relationships that form don't need to be changed because he accepts you for who you are and there's no reason to try and change you. We met, we're together, we're not there to change each other, pretty much.
juice.
Mm.
Okay, and then the puddle. I'm very curious. Oh, sorry, the body of water. I'm very curious to hear what you said.
So for me, because mine is like a, for some reason I see like a bungalow, grass, turf, and then it like turns into sand, and then there's the sea.
Okay.
Girl, 4 years ago, I thought I was like, bro, there's the sea. I didn't know that I had to transverse across it, so I was like, yikes. But the bigger the body of water, obviously the body of water signifies your love and how you love. Um, the cup being how you hold your relationships and what you conduct within it. The body of water is the emotional part, like your love itself. And me, obviously the ocean is deep, the ocean is vast, the ocean is ever changing. There can be a storm underneath with calm waters on top. That means that mine is, you can drown in it, you can love it, it looks beautiful in theory, can be rocky. It's pretty much like very situational, my love. Um, we just go with the, just go along with it, you know, just keep
Oh,
on swimming.
whoa.
And to get across it, that one signifies, and like how wet you get, it pretty much means that how much effort you'll put in for your love to continue, or like how much of yourself you give within your love. So with me, obviously, even though I have like a deep phobia for like dark, deep waters, I obviously, because I needed to get across, I would swim across it. I'm obviously extremely wet. My whole being is drenched. that means I give my whole self to a relationship or whoever I love. And with Kendrick,
Wow. Oh my God. I just you literally just went how deep my love is. Kendrick, go. I was like, what the frick? I was like, this was going
oh,
somewhere. And then all of a sudden you're like, Kendrick. For mine, mine was a pond, like a puddle. Nothing. Okay, not a puddle, like a pond. Yeah. I
yeah.
said more specifically, it was like a koi pond. And then what do you expect? Koi pond, like rocks, stuff
Hmm.
like that. So it's very, very manageable. Again, very backyard size. So I would say no more than like 6 feet long, let's say.
Hmm.
But it was like I had fish in it, all that stuff, that good stuff, lily pads, all whatever. Asia. Um Asia. And then in terms of how wet I got, I didn't in terms of like going through it or going around it, whatever, getting across it, I said I could just walk around it. And in terms of the water getting wet, I would only get wet or whatever if we splashed water at each other, as in me and the other person or whoever.
Hmm.
Not, yeah. So I didn't get wet unless we were like being playful and cute.
Oh,
So
I love that.
yeah.
Let's dissect that again. So pretty much with your view of love is that yours is more so like an oasis. It's more so like a very serene, because if you were to look at like a koi pond, you're not there to like freaking swim around or like tan. You're there to just kind of contemplate life. The way that you love gives meaning and contemplation and meditation. It's a place for someone to rest. It's like a home frequency vibe, like you're coming
For
home to it.
sure. For
And
sure.
not once does he mention how deep it is. So his love can be like freaking 1,000 feet deep. You don't know how deep that koi pond is in his mind's eye. Or it can be just deep enough for him to submerge his, his whole self. And honestly, the fact that he mentions that he'll get wet only if the other person wets him first, it means that that's the effort, the give and take, the pull in, the tug of war of the love that you'll have. You'll give love if you receive love. And don't get it wrong, because you said it was a koi pond, it has an ecosystem. It holds life. The fact that there's koi, the fact that there's lily pads, it's a whole sustainable system. Um, so that means in itself, it's like a mini ocean because you're able to hold life that way. So
Mm.
I don't minimize the way that you see um, that you've seen that body of water. Just because it's not big doesn't mean that your love is different. It just means that you love differently from other people. That's all.
Wow. See? Wow. And for the people watching, for the people listening, this wasn't like us trying to like share or do the test ourselves. This we already did this. We just wanted to
Hmm.
share our answers to kind of give perspective as to what they represent or what the meanings are and how they played a role in our lives. Um, but that being said, so I think it's time to
Oh,
play We're Not Really Strangers.
oh, okay. I'm ready for
Yeah.
it. I honestly have been fiending for this game.
Oh my gosh. I do feel bad because I feel like we took up time on my rant about respect and Ted
Oh my
Baker.
God. No,
But
that was
anyway,
inevitable. You say Ted Baker, and we're like, yikes.
the rant was not about Ted Baker. But anyways, yeah. So again, as you all know, if you're a fan of the podcast, I've been yeah, if you're a fan of the podcast, at the end of every episode, I play a game called We're Not Really Strangers by the artist Kareen. She's my favorite modern day artist. Um, and yeah, it's basically a game where you ask questions, and it's kind of like a Cards Against Humanity, but to get to know each other on a deeper level. Oh my god, I almost like vomited. No, I'm joking.
Are you okay?
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she actually, fun fact, even though not sponsored, wish, she did recently release a collaboration with Valentino, in which,
Oh,
yes,
excuse me. Let's get on that.
yes, I've been calling the Valentino store in Toronto every single week to try and get my hands on this game. But they're either saying they're not gonna. Some people say they're not gonna get it. Some of them say we're not getting it yet. I don't know. And someone just straight up said, I don't know if we're gonna release it to the public, as in like it's like hush hush. You could only their clients get it. And I was like, what the
Oh,
frig?
I
I was
kind of
like,
hate that.
I know. I
But
was
wow,
like,
exclusivity? Oof,
I know, but I was like, I'm a
that's hot.
diehard fan of the game, and how are you gonna give it to a rich client that probably doesn't even know this game exists? Anyways, anyways, so Cammy and I are huge fans of her work in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think today we're gonna. Sometimes I usually do one question, but I think we're gonna do three today.
How
Yes.
fun. I'm
We're gonna do one
excited.
from each level. So in the game, there are three levels. There's level one, which is called perception, level two, which is connection, and then level three, which is reflection. And I'm gonna do one from each episode. I mean, from each episode, bitch. The heck?
Each series.
From each level, yeah. Ooh, okay. I've never seen this one. Okay, so I play this game a lot, right? So I should know. I feel like I know all the questions. So whenever I see a question that I've never seen before, I get super excited. Um, oh my God. Oh,
Juicy.
juicy, yes. I'm kind of I'm trying to, like I'm just trying to diversify the portfolio. Try and make it relevant.
I'm so sorry. As soon as you said Valentino, like collab with them, I'm literally on Valentino's site and I'm like, oh, there's a virtual
Yeah.
card deck. It's sexy.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, I found the virtual version.
Oh. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
want the
whoa.
whole deck. It's sexy.
I know. And it's perfect because their branding is they're both red. Like, you know what I mean? Like their
Yeah, it
branding is
works
both red.
out.
Yeah, so it's like perfect. I think that's probably why,
Oh,
but
mm,
ooh,
but
this is
wow.
interesting. Okay. I've definitely seen this one before, but I don't think I've ever answered it. It's very interesting. Okay. I have three questions. So obviously
Oh
we're gonna start with
shit.
with level one, which is perception, and then
Mm-hmm.
connection, and then reflection. So you'll answer first, or whoever. If you can't come up with an answer, I'll say my answer first. But the first question is, what do you think my? Oh, well, what? Where did I get an A from? Who do you think my celebrity crush is?
Oh, yours.
Yeah.
Oh. Hmm. To be honest, the first person that I thought of was Kanye, and who else? Uh,
I'm not gonna say anything until you actually give an answer. But like, I do have
okay,
a comment
damn.
about about that.
Oh snap! Oh no! I hope nothing bad. I love you.
No,
You know
no,
this.
no, no,
Uh,
no, no, no.
um, I'm trying to think.
I think
If
I feel
not
like
Kanye,
I feel like people think I get offended too easily. Anyways,
oh my God, no! It's just because you have such you're very well spoken, so I get scared. That's why
okay,
I'm still kind of intimidated. But oh, hmm. Timothy Chalamet.
is that your final
Oh,
answer?
it's yeah.
Bitch, pick one. Pick one, bitch.
Fine. Timothy Chalamet.
Shalalalay. No, I think he's
Oh,
amazing. I would love to be friends with him. I think he's such a cool person, but no, not at all my
oh,
type.
Harry
No,
Styles,
nope. I mean, I'd be down for
Zendaya.
it. Bitch, can you one answer?
I'm okay.
There's no
Fine.
backup answers.
Fuck.
All
All
good
right.
answers for sure. Good answers for sure. But it's Charlie Puth.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh,
If anyone knows Charlie Puth, or if anyone wants to send this to Charlie Puth, or just at Charlie Puth,
at Charlie Puth.
like I met
Oh,
him a while back, and I think we're just like he's literally perfect. He's literally everything I want. Um.
he's so
Anyways,
good. I
yeah.
love that.
Yes. Anyways, I
Oh
think
yeah, you
yours.
had a comment. You had a comment
Oh
about
no, no,
Kanye.
Kanye, I would be down 100%. I
Okay.
just I think he's a lot to handle for sure. But I one thing that I'm huge on, and I have a tattoo of it, is like it talks about how I look more to brains than I do anything else. Like if your
Mm-hmm.
brain makes me smile, then that's it.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, so I for sure, well, yeah, he's a lot. Let's just say that, but I do respect his genius. And so, yeah, I think yours. Ooh, for those of you that don't know, Cammy's bisexual, so it could be any gender. Um,
We love to
I'm
see
I'm
it.
gonna go off of your current boyfriend. Well, your boyfriend. What do you mean? Your current boyfriend? Your boyfriend, Trevor. Hi,
Hmm.
Trevor, if you're listening to this. Um, who do I think? Hmm. Actually
Mm.
low key, I feel like it's like a K-pop star.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
This
Well,
it's the
she.
hair that's giving off the vibes. No, but not nothing K-pop. I'm
Hmm.
I'm whoa. I'm trying to like
Okay, at
think
least
of
at least give me a hint, like in terms of
give
like
you a
at least
hint.
like sexuality and like gender and stuff like that.
It's similar to something. It's just something to someone that you would like, and I look more towards the film industry for my crushes rather than anywhere else.
Similar to one I would like.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm quite obvious with it too sometimes.
I feel like I should know this.
Oh no, 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 you don't I don't think I'm as vocal about it as you are though. But we have this in common.
You know who I'm thinking of? You know who comes to mind? What's his
Who?
name? Is his name Remy? Remy Malik? That actor. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh my
about?
God, I love Rami Malek. I also
Is that
really
his
like
name?
him.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who comes to
Rami.
mind.
Oh my God, I actually don't know his name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
Rami
Remy.
Malek.
Yeah, he like
Rami
modeled for
Malek.
Saint Laurent or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
him.
he was like iRobot and everything. I love him, but I don't think I have a crush on him. He's to me, he'll forever be like Queen.
Okay, so who then?
Zendaya.
You know how you said that? You know how I thought that, but I was like, that's too easy. You know, like that.
Oh, I'm pretty
Yeah,
easy,
that's good.
eh?
That's
I
good.
love her so much. Like, you know, when you can like look up to someone and like see them as an inspiration, but also really truly want to love them. I'm like, wow,
Yes.
I just appreciate you as a person, but also if
I
you
just want to be your
choose to go
friend.
my way,
Yeah, like I want to be your friend. Like I want to have some sort of relationship with you. Yeah,
yeah,
I feel that for
honestly.
sure. Like a lot of the people that I do like admire and look up to, I feel that. Like I don't know, like it's just really weird. Anyways, what so this one's very interesting. So the next question again for the listeners is connection. So the question
Oh,
is, what is your first love's name and the reason you fell in love with him or her?
oh, I really like that. That's really cute. My first love. What did I truly love? Is
That's
this
the
like puppy
thing.
love or is this like first love? Because those are two
I
different
guess
things.
let's just say like your first crush. Let's say that.
My first crush, I think, was in third grade, on a boy named Carlos. And he was the embodiment. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, he reminds me a lot of Trevor. But like a shout out to Trevor, I love you. But he gives off very like golden retriever sunshine vibes. Like if
Oh.
someone were to, not that Trevor's like that. No, no. Trevor is more like, what kind of dog would he be? Trevor's more like a Doberman, like he's ready to kill you, but he's still
Oh,
like quite
dead.
tame. Um, but he was just so sweet and he was always so nice to me. And around that time in grade three, I was always kind of being told that it's too much as a kid, too much this,
Oh.
too much that. And because I was too much and still not like I still haven't blossomed. I was like, you're too much and you're too ugly. Pick a struggle.
Pick
And
one.
I'm like, and he was always so nice to me. So I was like, oh my God, like honestly, I love that for us. And he was just so cute. The reason why I kind of fell for him when I was like in grade three was because I I felt seen, I felt validated, and the fact that I just love kindness, and everyone who like exudes that aura, or um actively tries to be kind, it just makes my heart melt. I'm like, thank you.
Oh my
Thank you for
gosh.
being like a great human.
Wow. Oh,
But yeah.
I cannot relate. Mine was not that well thought out.
Oh my god. No, no, now that I'm looking at it, I kind of understand why I fell for this guy. But honestly, he was just cute as fuck. He was all brown. He was like a light-skinned Filipino, but his hair was light brown and he had light brown eyes, and I was like, "You're so
Whoa.
different."
Exotic.
I know he looks
Unique.
exotic. He doesn't look
Yeah.
Filipino, but his hair was so Filipino. I was just like, yeah, you're from here."
Mine was this similar age too, actually. Someone named a guy named Lucas. I
Oh.
actually I don't think I've ever said that until now, actually, or even like really thought about it like that. But yeah, it's like I don't know. He was just very like friendly and like artistic, and I feel like at the time, like he was like exactly what I was looking for. I don't know. There's just no more to say about it. Like it was just like it just it just like it just felt right. Like I was like, wow, like I need you.
Oh.
But and then literally the year after we met, he left. So
Oh yeah.
I remember we exchanged emails. We were like, ew.
Oh, that's so cute. Back
And
in the
I
day
think
when the emails.
I know, and I think in high school I tried to email him and then no response. So
Oh,
maybe the email didn't maybe he didn't even use that email anymore. Who knows?
fair, fair,
Um
fair.
but yes, so final question, third level, reflection. What do you think my superpower is?
Oh, yours? Yours
Yes.
particularly?
Yeah, we have to answer for each other.
I think one of the main things, like my first impression of you, was that you were like such a powerful person, and like a boss. You know how like we're all about like the boss woman? That was like you, but like you didn't give off like, it's so bad to say like a boss man because it just feels like very authoritative and you look down on people and kind of like a douchebag, but you didn't give off that vibe. Like you seemed very put together, very organized. You were very well aware of your goals, and honestly that was one of the things that inspired me so much and wanted you to be one of my friends, because I honestly looked up to that and I want to have that surrounding me. And as your main superpower, I would say, would be, because I'm bad at it. I'm not as great at it yet. Would be like being so goal oriented and like great with your boundaries.
Interesting. I thought you were gonna say inspiring, and I was like, okay,
Oh,
but
you
interesting.
already inspire me. Like, you already know that. Like I do that
Interesting.
all the time, but like I would say that your superpower as a person would be that, because you don't let anything deter you from your goal. You have your mindset.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I think yours is I think what this is, and this is very interesting because the one thing about you is you're very, I feel as though you hold back sometimes. I think you're very like thought out, and the way you speak is very like you have to make sure you're saying the right thing all the time.
Oh,
Um, but that's not what I'm trying to say. But I think what your superpower is I think it's your way of making people feel like heard and understood, because even though because yes, you do speak very like almost professionally, I want to say, because I don't know, like I don't know if you agree, but like from what
oh,
I
I
know
do,
about
yeah.
you is you're very like you always have to try and say the right thing. Like you never just like let go. But despite that, you're very I feel like when people talk to you, you're very you listen, like being heard. And I think that's something that is very powerful that people underestimate in their life is being heard. And I think and especially in the movie I'm watching right now too, the show I'm watching right now actually, they say one of the most valuable things is for a person to feel heard. And I
Oh,
think you give that to people. So I think that's really special.
That's so sweet, man.
You're so
My main
extra.
superpower is being able to cry on the spot.
Oh my god, you're so
Oh my
extra.
god, oh my god, you already know. That's our vibe.
Okay. Anyways, we'll let her cry in silence. Anyways, uh, so thank you all so much for listening to the pod. That signals the end of the episode. Um, and yeah, thank you all for listening again. Please do send this to your friends, word of mouth. I read this article recently that said the best way to promote a podcast is word of mouth, and I
That's
do plan on
facts.
bringing you, the listeners and the viewers, a lot more episodes like this, episodes that are more emotional or just like more eye-opening, more conversations that are like show you a new perspective or give you an understanding of something you never thought you would understand. And also just like I'm gonna have more guests on here that are like maybe more professional that can provide advice as well. I'm just looking for this to be a learning journey for all the listeners. So join the ride. And as always, you can find me on Instagram at Kendrick Train, my website at trainontrack.com, the podcast, Train Off Track, and the YouTube channel, A Train on Track as well. And where can they find you? I almost called you Ruby.
Yikes,
Cammy.
that's okay. I love you still. You can find me on Instagram under ACISU. It sounds like a kisu because I wanted to be really cute, and I had a phase where Japanese names were just it. Or
I did not know that was the reason, actually.
yeah, honestly, I wanted to sound like I was saying I kiss you.
Oh, cute.
Oh my God. But yeah, you'll see my past modeling work and where I'm at now, and whatever links I've included there, you'll see.
Okay, alrighty. So, thank you all for listening, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.